You probably have questions about COVID vaccines. Here are some answers about how they're being made.
How are COVID vaccines being produced faster?
Usually, vaccine testing and production are separate steps. But because of the pandemic, vaccines are being developed on parallel tracks. So both steps are happening just at the same time.
How are the vaccines being tested?
Right now, several different COVID vaccines are in testing. Each go through multiple clinical trials with up to thousands of volunteers.
How do vaccines get approved?
Not all COVID vaccine versions will make it to the final stages of testing and approval. Produced vaccines that do not pass clinical trials will be destroyed. But for those that do pass, a team of medical experts will examine test results and possible side effects. If the vaccine is effective and safe, it gets approved and gets to you. Go to covidvaccinewa.org to learn more. A message from the state of Washington.
Join Rainier Avenue Radio from 5 to midnight for Sunday evening sound sessions. Jazz from the cabinets, from Big Poppy.
That's right. It's time once again for Jazz from the Cabinets with Big Poppy.
Sergio LaCour's Love Lines.
It's Sergio's Love Lines with Sergio LaCour. Go to the phone lines. Hello, who we talking to?
Sage Prince and Just My Opinion.
This is Sage, and that's just about going to do it for the first half of Just My Opinion.
K-Fox Nightbeat with Nasty Ness Rodriguez.
It's the beat of the Fox. K-Fox Nightbeat, Nasty Ness.
You know what? You're going to listen from 5 to midnight. Just turn it on and don't stop. DJ Alibaba. The Underground Surround Sound Start Time with Paul Pearson.
Thanks for tuning in. My name is Paul Pearson.
Sunday evening sound sessions on Rainier Avenue Radio. Trust me, you'll be listening the entire time from 5 to midnight. Sunday evening, your sound session on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Atlantic Street Center has been serving the children, youth, and families of the Seattle-King County area since 1910. We partner with families and communities to raise healthy, successful children and youth through services including counseling, early learning, youth development, domestic violence, and education support for school-aged children. Committed to serving the African-American community, Atlantic Street Center provides services and support for all marginalized people. Learn more at AtlanticStreetCenter.org.
Rainier Avenue Radio.world is your 24/7 digital media hub. Tune in at Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and TuneIn apps.
Hey! Hi, it's Friday. Happy Friday to everyone. This is Brenda Charles Edwards, the host of Seniors Matter. We're live every Friday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on www.rainieravenueradio.world, your community radio station. You can always listen to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch TV, and of course, the Rainier Avenue Radio app. We feature interviews with people that provide services or have valuable information for seniors, their family, and the community. Do you need financial documents notarized? Are you a senior that needs documents read to you for clarity or completion? Call me, Brenda, at Black Orchid Notary, 206-683-2636. Tell me where, I'll meet you there. This February, we've been celebrating African American History Month. Today, my guests are Patrick Carr, District Director of Membership at the West Seattle YMCA, and Kamarah Williams, Employee Extraordinaire. The YMCA is a Seattle-based nonprofit that promotes health, hope, and opportunity. Welcome to the show, Patrick and Kamarah. How are you?
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Oh, it's Kamarah.
Kamarah.
It is Kamarah. Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, there was an H, and I'm like, okay.
That's
so
my middle name, Hope.
Ah, okay. Got it. Okay, well, welcome, you guys. I can say that I've met Kamarah. I haven't met Patrick in person, but Patrick, I started going to the Y on Monday. My husband's been going. He's in the pool. He's the Aquaman, not me. So I walked the 4 flights of stairs to the walking area, which I forgot about because it'd been a few years since I'd been to that Y. So needless to say, I got my exercise just walking up those flights of stairs. So now I'm just doing the treadmill and the weights. But I did good yesterday. I got I think I walked 1.4 miles I burned off 254 calories, and I've got something else. But anyway, I felt good.
Was that your first day? Was that your first time back yesterday?
No. Monday was.
Monday was, okay.
Yeah. And I got to meet CJ and had great conversations with her.
Awesome.
And so, yes, it was, I was glad because I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to get back into action again. And so I now see this week, I've been off from school. So mid winter break. So I'm going to be busy going forward again, but I'm going to fit it back in because I need to exercise again, and I enjoyed it. So,
well, that's good.
So speaking of the why, what is the YMCA to the community?
Did you want me to go first?
Go ahead, tackle it.
Well, to me, I believe that the YMCA to the community is a place for everybody to work on themselves free of judgment. I mean, to pretty much sum it up, everybody likes to come here and work on themselves. Everybody's here for the same reasons, and nobody's here like, sorry, I'm nervous.
Okay.
But pretty much that's what it is. It's just a place for your judgment for everybody to come work on themselves physically and mentally.
Right. And so I feel like Kamarah nailed it right there. And so you think about the YMCA, you think of spirit, mind, and body, which are three parts of the YMCA that we try to incorporate in what happens with members and their experience when they come here. I see the Y, and I'm a Y kid, right? I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, going to the YMCA all the time, trying to play basketball, live out my hoop dream. And so it was, for me, it was like the central hub of the community, right? It's a place where you make friends. And
right.
Now that I work here, and I've worked here for like 13 years, I see it in a couple of ways because I've had the experience to see behind the curtain and see how the operations work. And then also having been a member, it's like it operates in transactional ways, like selling people memberships, creating, get them involved in programs. And then these transformational ways that are really exciting for us now to consider how we look at West Seattle and provide visibility for like folks within the West Seattle community that are marginalized. We have a large East African population. We have a large Asian population and all the dialects within. And so the real challenge and the real excitement about the YMCA is how we're deciding through our equity statement to be a part of the conversation to help provide visibility for marginalized communities.
So now, as your role as district, what did I say?
District director of membership.
Director.
Yeah.
That part.
So you encompass not only the West Seattle Y, but you're also at the Fauntleroy Y too. Is that correct?
Yeah. So my role gives me direct purview over the West Seattle YMCA and the Fauntleroy YMCA, but I also have dotted line responsibility to Kent and SeaTac and Newcastle and Auburn. Am I missing anybody? And West Seattle. That's it. That's 5 of us. Mm-hmm.
That's enough. I mean,
that's a lot.
Jeez. Well, I guess the fact that you have been doing this for a while makes it pretty easy for you to be able to handle all of this. So that's a good thing. And they're obviously grateful that they have you in this role.
I would like to hope so. Yeah, I believe that that's true as far as like seeing me as the right person for this role in the communities that we serve and being able to build relationships and make connections happen. I feel like I'm the right person for the role, and so do they.
So Kamarah, how long have you been with the Y?
Well, I was also a Y kid, but I started working here in August, so I'm fairly new.
And do you have a title?
I'm a mayor, so I'm pretty much the front desk lady, as a lot of people call it. Front desk lady.
Oh, no, but before that, you said you're a what?
MER, mayor.
It's
Am I saying that right?
Engagement representative.
Oh,
yeah.
Because I'm like, huh? Did I hear that right? Okay.
We love an acronym here at the Y.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I can take that. Yeah. So when I was there on Monday, CJ, who she has such a wonderful spirit, and she told me that she came from, I believe it was, I don't think she named the store, but she was in retail.
Oh, Bed Bath.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so she really enjoys working there, Patrick. She had high praise for you.
Oh,
and
nice.
you too, Kamarah, but Patrick in particular, because he's her boss. But
yeah.
No, in all seriousness, she really thinks a lot of you and appreciates what you've done and what you're doing. But it was so funny because she says to me, "Did you see the mural?" And I said, "What mural?" So then she takes me around behind the desk and shows me the mural just before I go to walk into the weight room. And I went, "Whoa, are you serious?" So I took some pictures. Unfortunately, they didn't come out well enough that I could show them on the air here, but very impressive. Could you tell my audience what inspired this Black History Month mural?
I'll tackle that one first.
Okay.
So the thing we do here, so COVID happened. That's a thing that happened. Everybody knows that.
Right.
And so we used to be an organization that was about selling memberships and like the transactional aspect of the work. And so when COVID happened, we had to rethink about who we were as an organization and consider other ways to stay engaged with members. So the thing that we can control at West Seattle was how we showed up within community. And so we decided to look at Heritage Month events like Black History Month and Women's History Month, and come up with these ways we could tell some stories about folks within community. So that's initially what inspired us to do it. Was like, we want to create dialogue. We want to build relationships with folks in community at the YMCA. The Black History Month mural in particular for me was about trying to tell the story of Black history that is different from the one I learned in high school or like high school, Right. I spent a lot of time in 2020 learning and thinking a lot about our history, Reconstruction. Reading the book 1619 at the moment, and the documentary on Zora Neale Hurston, and these are stories that are new to me, like things I had not heard about. Ways in which the history of Black people are framed in a way that I just hadn't known. I'm part of this mainstream society.
Right.
And so the hope was to be able to do some research between Kamarah and myself and tell the stories of those folks within history who haven't had an opportunity to be put on, so to speak, in a mainstream voice. So for me, that was the thing I really was excited about doing, is telling other people's stories, and also seeing where we've come from and where we are currently.
Did you, in your research, did you find someone that you posted that was either most interesting to you or just spoke to you, so to speak?
Most definitely. When I look at the timeline, the part that sticks out to me the most, and the part that's, I think, shows me how a lot of the plight in Black history is cyclical, is I look at Emmett Till and Emmett Till's experience of being a young Black male murdered. And how even from that time frame now till now, there's only been recently legislation been passed, the anti-lynching laws, for Emmett, based on Emmett Till. That's such a, for me, I don't want to say crazy, but it's like mind-blowing, to see an incident that could happen so far in the past still be resonant in today's day and age, with an extension of that is Trayvon Martin, an extension of that is Mike Brown, and even to some extent George Floyd, the idea that Black men could still be murdered in the world. And that's a story that we easily forget over the generation. So I was hoping the timeline would show the successes, the joys, but also be able to show people the ways in which we've told this story throughout the generations over and over and over again. And maybe that helps people see where we're stuck.
Well, and Patrick too, with Emmett Till, and for his mother to do what she did by having an open casket funeral.
Right.
I mean, so people could see how violated we've been.
Right.
You know, and that my heart went out to her. I saw the movie, you know, about her aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, oh, heart.
Yeah.
Kamarah, what about you?
For me, it wasn't necessarily a person that stood out to me. For me, it was the 3/5 compromise, because even when I did learn about that in like class, it still sticks with me because it was very heartbreaking that people would see people of color and demean them as as a fraction instead of a whole person. And people still probably think that today. And I just hope that as we move forward and we show people that we are more than just a fraction, that they consider us people like everybody else, no matter what skin color we are.
Absolutely. So I noticed that you have a sign that says Black Lives Matter. Have you had any comments from other folks about that? And then also with your timeline?
Yes, a lot of people are just really happy that we've put it up there. There's a lot of buzz going around the why, and they're just really excited the fact that we've even put this much effort into them, and they're just happy to be part of, like, we're all happy to be part of this community where we all can showcase something each month and show people that didn't have as much of a voice then as they do now. If that makes sense.
Yes.
People are just super happy about it, and that makes me happy about it. And people are learning about stuff that we didn't even know was showcased because it was never taught in history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't heard any negative feedback from it, but what I would say to anyone who had negative feedback for it, I would say, this is who we are. Like, this is the YMCA. We stand for equity and justice. These are things that are going to be visible for you. And it's safe to say, like, if that's not the direction that you want to go in as far as like how you spend your money in community, then perhaps the Y is not a great place for you. But if it is, then this is the type of investment in community that you're going to get out of the YMCA, being able to tell the stories of those most marginalized. One of the coolest things that happened was me and Kamarah normally work on Mondays together at the front desk. And so we were about to close the facility, and a young man, probably 7 or 8 years old, is staring at the mural, and he's looking, he has such a puzzled look on his face. So I walk over to him and I say, hey, what do you think's going on? He tells me that he's doing like a school project. And he pointed at Barack Obama's picture and was like, yeah, I want to talk about that. And then he goes down to the part of the mural that's the 1600s. And he was just completely unaware, he's so like 1600, right. What is that? Did that even happen? Is that like, that's interesting. So what we did was start to have a conversation about, what it looked like in the 1600s and the striving from exclusion to inclusion that the mural purports, right? And It really helped him connect the dots. And the way I framed it in the conversation was like, we moved from this complete exclusionary place to you look at the 60s and you see an explosion of inclusion legislatively. And then the person you're doing your report on, arguably, is the result of all that striving, Barack Obama. And I think that turned a light bulb on in his head about how history plays a part in the development of society and in the ability for Black people to continue to move forward.
That is so beautiful. And I just heard yesterday on the radio that there are some states that are trying to eliminate what African-American teachers are teaching about Black history and how things really happened. And that's so sad, because here again, we're going to have to get into that fight where we are here, we exist, we have contributed to society, and we have a history, just like you have a history. And I won't talk about that, but I'm just going to focus on the African-American history.
Yeah.
That's another episode, I guess.
You're right.
Really, yes, another episode. If you're just tuning in, you're listening live to Seniors Matter with your host, Brenda Charles Edwards. on www.rainieravenueradio.world, your community radio station. I'm here every Friday at 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. Do you know what the best gift you can give yourself and your loved ones? Join me on Zoom for a group or individual session on Speaking of Dying, End of Life Planning. You can reach me at 206-683-2636 for a reservation. Now back to my guest, Patrick Carr, District Director of Membership at the West Seattle YMCA, and the extraordinaire employee mayor, Kamarah Williams. I can't get over that mayor thing, but I'm going to get it because I plan on being there quite a few times.
All right.
So, and I miss out on that contest you were having about. I thought when I first read it, I thought you had to do 1 to 5 activities to get a bag. But then I read it again. It said 15 activities.
Yeah.
I saw this yesterday. I had only been there twice, so I don't get a bag. I can see that, but I was like, dang, but that was a great idea, though.
Hey, rest assured, even if we move into March and the promotions for February, as long as you got your card in February, you can meet the goal and still get a bag.
Oh.
So you still have time.
But yeah, okay. We'll talk offline. So what brings you joy when you think about Black History Month? And I'm going to start with Kamarah.
What brings me the fact that we're just even getting enough recognition for a month, which is definitely a lot more than we have in the past.
Well, yeah, it was a week at one time.
Right. And there was probably even just a day at one time as well, if that was even that. But we've come so far, and we all plan on going even further to where it's not just a month. It's just like a thing that's year round, just like every other thing that goes on year round. I'm just really happy that we really get the recognition that we deserve, especially being treated so badly in the past, and the fact that we've worked so hard to even get to this part, and we're still fighting to get even better.
I hear you. Patrick, I'm going to ask you that same question, but also you can throw in there about the other ways throughout the year that you're going to create more awareness, visibility, and support for those marginalized in the community.
For sure. What gives me joy is, of course, being able to tell the story. The other part is like knowing that Black History Month, even though it's relegated to 28 days in February, is American history, right?
Right.
It's only, when we live in the Black-white construct, it kind of dilutes the idea that our history is just ours and it doesn't belong to the country. Black history is American history. And it gives me joy to be able to put those things in context and be able to tell a young person full-throatedly, like, we are America. Who we are as folks, when you go home and you have dinner with your family and the cultural things that you all have and that exist within your family construct, like, that is American history. That is American culture. And that gives me joy to be able to reframe the conversation as to what Black history is all about.
Patrick, I just thought of something. I saw something on Facebook, and I don't even remember where it was or whatever, but it was at a school, and on the in the classroom door, they had decorated the door for Black History Month, and it said something that this just really got me. At the top of the door, it said, people were brought over that were potential doctors, lawyers, everything that anybody can be, these people were. And at the bottom it says, and you made them slaves. And I just went, wow.
That's powerful.
That is very powerful. Very. But anyway, go ahead and I just had to.
That's good. Amen moment. Okay.
Yeah.
As far as like the things we want to do in the future, we're committed to identifying Heritage Month. March is coming up, so Women's History is another way in which we'll be trying to continue the conversation and support women of all types that have existed in history and exist currently. Honestly, I think of Bell Hooks right now as someone who passed away and very integral to feminist thought, Black feminist thought particularly. And so we want to be able to share those stories and put that out there as a way to be within community, to think about how women have supported the American historical narrative. And that's just one way. And so we have Pride Month coming up in June. And of course, we have other months throughout the fall that we'll be supporting. But we're going to intentionally create these ways to build conversation. I appreciate you offering us the opportunity to talk about it on your show, because the more people that know that's what you get when you go to the Y. You get a commitment to community and all persons that live in community.
Absolutely. And I'm a Y kid too. And so, but not as long or as extensive as you, but I did the camps and, and all of that. And, and still have been involved with the Y. Actually, I was over at the other Y, Meredith Edwards.
Meredith Matthews.
Thank you. See,
I used to work there too, actually.
Did you? Because it's closer in a way. And I would take my mom because we were working out, and then COVID hit. And we had to stop. And then the one time we did go back, I couldn't, they changed the system, the rooms around. So we used to do weights first. And, but the way they changed it, I couldn't go in the room with her. And I'll talk to you offline about that. But it was a little disturbing because my mother is older. And I just didn't want to leave her in the room by herself, and I'm in another room doing weights. So anyway, I'll talk to you about that later. But I've enjoyed the Y, and my husband enjoys it also. And if nothing else, even if you just get on the treadmill, and like yesterday I did 50 minutes, and I was reading emails and listening to music. It took me away from the outside world. I was like in my own little world and just doing what I wanted to do and needed to do. And I think that's with the stress that we have in this life right now, we need places like that. So I'm so glad that the Y, concentrates on that and wants to be open and inclusive to everybody, so everybody has a chance to be what it is they need to be at that particular time.
For sure.
So is there anything else you'd like to share about the Y before we close?
Come to the Y. We would like some more members in our community.
Now, when are you guys there? Because I go in the morning, so I haven't seen you yet.
I'm usually afternoons, so like around 3 to closing is when I'm there.
Okay.
And in my operations, I kind of dance between different branches. So I'm typically in the branch around 12:30 to close. So I'm there in the evening times as well, mostly.
Okay. Well, we may have to make a special stop over there one evening just to meet you in person. I did run into Kamarah on, was it Monday? I think I saw you.
Yeah, it was Monday.
Yes. And so that was great. And then I found out a little bit more about you. You're still going to have to send me a bio because I didn't get your bio.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was so focused on the questions. I will definitely send that to you.
Okay. It sounds good. So I have 1 minute left, and I just want to say, you guys, it's been really great having you on the show. And I'm really hope that people will take advantage of the Y, be it the West Seattle Y, Renton, wherever. They're there for you. And please take advantage of them. I'd like to thank my audience for listening. And I want to say to those students that are out there, I hope you've been enjoying your midwinter break, because I sure have enjoyed it. So until next time, please be safe, wear your mask, and live your life like it's golden. The coronavirus special edition is next. We'll see you, Patrick and Kamarah, soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, sure. My pleasure.